Alright, what's up guys? We're back out in the shop again today. I ordered a couple more gussets for the cage, which I'm pretty excited for. They're really just aesthetic gussets, like they're kind of cool designs cut out for 90-degree angles, so we're going to be tucking them in a couple places. But I got some really cool gussets today that I've been waiting for. I got my dimple dye gussets in. I almost wish I ordered a slightly larger hole, but I think it'll look fine. So I was just mocking them up, and they're going to need a little bit of trimming to fit, which of course, because this is straight, the A-pillar's curved, of course they're going to be a little bit different. So we are going to need to trim these some, which is nerve-wracking. These are like 40 bucks for two, which, I mean, it's not like crazy expensive, but it's really not cheap either, so. Oh, excuse me, I don't want to fuck them up. But I thought they'd be wider. They're only 3 inches. I mean, I thought that like that was bigger, but it's not. So, but they are big enough for what I'm doing. So I'm gonna mark these up, or attempt to at least, and measure and try and weld these in today. I also got a new bottle of gas, so I can give my buddy his bottle back. And yeah, so we're gonna do that. All right, guys. So here's the dimple dyes all in place. I had to trim the back and the front edge to keep it even. I tacked them in. I have them marked out for where to weld in increments. So we're about to do that. That one's in, that one's in. I'm just gonna make sure they're completely even with some more measuring. Then we're gonna burn them in. Alright guys, so there they are. I just got all the welds done up the side. If you notice, I also welded the inside edge, of course. If you notice, these bottom ones are only a ½ inch, these are 1 inch. That's because of the way the welds fell. If I did them all 1 inch apart, either the top or bottom edge wouldn't have been welded to, like that edge would have been welded. So I offset it by ½ inch. There's a ½ inch on the top and bottom. I think they came out pretty good. That one seems a little bit more angled. That's my fault. I just didn't position it the same. But I think, like I said, I think they came out pretty good. And from inside the car, of course, they take away a little bit of your view, but the A-pillar bar itself also does that. So like if I was seated, I'd probably be somewhere around here. I mean, it's really, that gap you're not seeing much anyway, and the holes actually line up. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with how they came out. I like them. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really think they were gonna add that much rigidity. For a couple reasons. First off, this is a newer chassis, so usually newer chassis are like a little bit stiffer than a 20 or 30-year-old S chassis, so that goes without saying, I think. But I really just like the way they look, and I've always wanted, I always said like if I ever did a full cage, I was doing gussets from the A-pillar to the thing, and I like the way they came out. Like I said, they were pre-made, so there wasn't a whole lot of customization options, but I like the way they came out. Alright guys, so I just been kind of cleaning wire wheels and welds, cleaning up the workbench. This was clean, but I moved a lot of stuff out of the car into here. I just removed all the little brackets like this that like pop into the body. There's so many of them, they like hold interior trim and stuff, but I'll have to shave all of them before I paint it, obviously. So I went through whacking them all off and pulling them all out. So all the brackets, except for like the trunk area, which is really just dirty because it's got some stuff in the tire well I'm using for storage. All the like little brackets and stuff are on the car. A couple spots that like have like adhesive or whatever need to be like sanded up a little bit and cleaned. For the most part, it's almost ready for the roof. I plan on painting the interior before the roof, but yeah, it's pretty clean up right now. I'm still kind of in limbo because I'm like waiting for the steering column, because I guess I really am just in fabrication mode. I just want to make that fit and make that work. So I've been playing around with some other stuff. I got my steering shaft fitted up through the firewall, mounted to the rack. I had to do a little bit of modification of the shaft. Clearly the bungee cord will not be supporting it, but I also changed my seating position a little bit. The steering wheel, this shaft will probably be cut like in here, because you gotta think I'm gonna have my deep dish wheel, and this is too far out as it is. But I've been playing around with the gas pedal and stuff, so just giving you guys an idea how it's gonna look. And I am so pumped because like I just have a feeling this car is gonna do really good things. And I am kind of overbuilding it, but that's the purpose. Like to have a car that I can you know, grow into as I get better at drifting as well. And eventually, you know, like I built the full cage, so hopefully I can tandem. But yeah, I just figured I'd give you guys an update on that. Like I said, hopefully the column will mount right here. They make a bracket I can weld straight on and hang it, and it'll mount right in line. I gotta buy the couplers, and I still gotta mount the gas pedal. That's something easy though. That'll be like a 45-hour-minute job. But I do have to paint up this seat bracket, and this seat has to go back in the 240 because the 240 is going drifting in 2 weeks. So that seat has to go back in pretty soon. But I do want to like kind of fit the steering shaft first so I can cut it to length where I want it, because that is where the seat's gonna be. So we have to get that back in soon too. Alright guys, so I got my packages in. Well, one of them, a couple more coming, but these are what I was waiting for, these gussets. I'm arranging them just like this on the rear X bars. I wanted to do some type of gussets. The tacos were on top of my list. The tacos were also about $60 for two. And the more I looked at them, the more I was like, you know what? I don't really like the tacos as much. Not just because of the price, but because of other things as well. So I decided we're gonna go with this type of gusset. It really is more for looks. Those plates aren't gonna add too much strength. There's a lot cut out, but I think it'll look cool. It's pretty much like fabrication rice, so I'm gonna go weld it in now. All right, guys. So there it is, tacked in. I think it looks pretty neat. It's like a neat little touch instead of regular old gussets. And it's really, really hard to like actually get it level, but I think it's pretty good. So we're gonna weld it in now. Alright guys, so there it is, all burned in. I had marked these off similar to the dimple dies up front, excuse me, to weld every inch, and I fucked up. I welded that whole thing, and like I fucked up right there, but I just welded the whole strip. And like literally, when I was like just passing the black Sharpie line, I was like, fuck, I wasn't supposed to weld that. It looks pretty neat. In my opinion, I think that looks pretty fucking cool. So yeah, we're just waiting for a little more gussets and that power steering. Alright guys, so I've referred to my list over there and decided that tonight we're not going to waste the night playing Forza. We're going to make the gas pedal fit. So I made this bracket here. These were the hardware. These are factory hardware that held on like trim pieces. I'm not going to be using them. So I simply drilled holes, tacked them in, cut this plate, and it has the factory hardware from Ford. Bolts up to the 240 pedal, pretty good. And I'll show you in the car what we're gonna do to mount it. Alright, so I made this bracket inside that bolts to the two factory mounts. This is the third mount. I'm probably gonna build a leg that goes down, and just in case it needs more stabilization. The gas pedal doesn't really take as much abuse as the clutch pedal and the brake pedal, so I don't think it'll need it. But anyway, we're gonna mount this right about there. Basically just gonna make a piece that goes up, welds to there, welds to here, and a piece from the bottom that does the same. And I think that'll be enough, but like I said, if it needs more, we're just gonna add a little piece there, and we can even run a brace out to this. But I think that'll be plenty, because all this does is, yeah, it should be enough. But we're gonna measure that up, cut that, and weld that now. Guys, so here's the bracket. Bolts up like that. At first, like that's gonna be a lot of leverage, but when it's all bolted in, it doesn't move much with me smashing the pedal. I might be trimming this a little bit just because the pedal's like a little bit too long, really, for the Mustang, like where your feet land. But the whole reason this all bolts together, so that way I can remake this if I don't like it. This bolt, I could have welded something right to the firewall, but I'd rather just use a stock mount, so it all unbolts. So if I don't like it, I can unbolt it and switch it out for something else without having to cut stuff off the firewall. So now I'm going to burn this in, and we're going to do the final fit. Got some pretty good beads on it. This one was kind of like filling a gap, so there's some fat beads. Nice little rip across the back. I tried to weld the insides where I could, not the prettiest. The gas didn't really get to those, you can tell because it blew out. I can't really like weld in that angle very well, so I'm not even gonna try. Should be plenty strong with those welds. So I'm gonna get the pedal on, get this bolted back to the firewall, and see how it looks in the car. By the way, I bought these gloves from Harbor Freight, these welding gloves. I usually only wear one, because I just use like a regular mechanic's glove on the hand with the gun in it. But they're pretty good. They're only like 20 bucks, and I like gloves that fit really good. So there's definitely ones out there that can take more heat. Like there's these heavy duty blue ones at most like hardware stores. They take a lot of heat. We had a pair of those that are really nice, but these fit better and give you like more work and dexterity ability. I don't know, I like wearing them for regular work gloves when I'm dealing with something hot or something like that, but they are pretty nice. So there it is, fully in the car. Pretty usable. I think I'm gonna chop the bottom off a little bit and maybe bend the pedal just a little bit. I don't know, I'm kind of questioning how it feels, but worst comes to worst, I can always bend the rod and remake that part. The mount's pretty good. If you notice, that clearance up there is pretty tight. The edge actually hits, but the cable only comes this way, and the cable should actually come through right below the bracket there, which I'm pretty pumped up for. But it looks pretty good in there. My biggest thing is I want to be able to heel toe with this car. So I'm trying to think, like, if I'm fully on the brakes, which means I'm probably crashing, but you know, I can pretty easily get over and jab that, like rev match, you know, all the good stuff. But right about there, I think is pretty good. My seat does have padding here, so my legs are really going to be more like this, so that's literally like perfect, you know what I mean? So that should be good. So that's it for the gas pedal. I'm pretty happy to get that done tonight because I'm just waiting for the steering thing, so I knock some things off the list. Who knows, I might get the swap in and be like, fuck this, I don't like it. But for now, we're going to keep it. So my remaining gussets have in common. We're going to scrap that for a later date. I'll just do them, fit them into a video somewhere. But this is what I was waiting for, is the power steering unit. This is the input side. Normally there'd be the tilt column on here. And then this is the output side. This is how it would normally sit in the car, like that. Pretty much the ECU doesn't come off without resoldering some wires, so we're not going to do that, I don't think. The mounting method I was going to use these holes and a bracket that welded up to the roll cage, but it looks like I can't make the bracket go up using these 3 holes and a flat plate because of the ECU. So I might have to either divorce the ECU or mount it this way. But then you're going to worry about your foot room, so we're going to see how that works out. But I'm going to throw it in the car now and check it out. So it ended up being a little more of a project than I thought. I did end up like divorcing this from that. They're all soldered up. It was a pain in the ass to cut and solder. Like, these wires are so fucking tiny. And these are like small wires. Like, these are, I'm like, oh, this is some pretty small gauge shit I found laying around. No, it's like half the size. They're 24 gauge. It was super hard to solder and cut them, but they're cut. So I'm going to contact someone tonight. There's a website called ePower Steering. They sell all types of parts for these units to do like hot rod retrofits like we're doing here. And I'm going to contact him and ask him what kind of couplers I need, because he sells, all the couplers. And he also sells a couple mounts. I'm probably going to buy the mount from him. And yeah, after that, we're going to be making a video on installing this, because that's really like my plan of attack, is to just order the stuff from him. I might make my own mount, but I'm going to order the brackets and stuff from him, because not the brackets, but the connectors, and then it's going to go right in line with the motor. I want you to focus. Right in line with the motor towards the trans tunnel. It's going to fit great. It's going to look, you know, when it's all said and done, it's going to be sick to have power steering that will work. Even if like my car dies, I can just flip it on with a switch and it'll work. So no hydraulic, no fluid leaks, nothing. So pretty pumped about it. But I'm going to work on making a bracket or ordering the bracket. So next time you guys see this, it will be all mounted up. But that's it for this video.